Let's begin with the toddler. Here we have our plant. A fish is absolutely fabulous with a small child. Or in this case, I have a calming bottle. And this is just rotated, and the child can watch the various glass beads fall at different rates. When the pandemic is over and I can acquire hand sanitizer again, I can teach you how to make one of these in a non-toxic manner. Please stay away from glitter, as glitter is really, really bad for the environment. So we have our calming bottle, we have a plant or a fish, and in this case I have an egg timer. Little kids love the egg timer. They will stare at them. They will predict which one will end first. And in the classroom, we are already using the egg timer as a part of the silence game to learn how to make silence, as becoming still is not something that is easy. I don't recommend egg timers that are brightly colored or have lots of writing on them. What we want is the focus to be on the sand, nothing else. So the toddler might begin to lose control of his emotions, or his body might start throwing things and not being able to self-regulate through those feelings comfortably. When they feel calm, then they can leave and go back to their work. But this is the place where we calm ourselves. Now, as we move to the 3 to 6-year-old child, we are still working with a child who's learning to understand what emotions are and how to express them appropriately. We still might have calming bottles. We'll still have a plant, a fish, window. We might have a piece of art that is relatively complicated to look at and to study, that is peaceful, is a nature scene, and put that on the table as well. We have the ability to have yoga cards. This is a set made by one of the members of our congregation who teaches yoga once a month to our children. So that is a possibility for your highly kinesthetic child, but you really don't want them to be able to leave that area. This is the area where peace can be worked out, and everyone will respect that that is what you're doing. It is also a place where you can be angry and can allow that to slowly work its way out. You saw me working with this mat, which is perfectly capable for the 3 to 6 as well. We have other objects. We have a little sign that can stand up. And in this case, because we're coming from a Christian worldview, it is the prayer of St. Francis to make us instruments of God's peace. You could place the Lord's Prayer in an area where it can be read and be reminding the child of their nurture and care for each other and for themselves, and that they are nurtured and cared for by a God. There is also the possibility of putting out some affirmation cards for children who have deep levels of anxiety. These cards are pretty deliberately chosen. These types of affirmations, I will continue to learn and grow, not I have everything I need and I can do it myself. We're not looking for those sorts of things. We are looking for affirmations that say, I can overcome the things. I am a good student. I improve every day. So these are things that the child can attain to. They are not statements that the child is something that they are not going to become in their own mind for many, many years. The other objects that can be used, instead of rocks, we have some pom-poms, and they can be used here. And we have a sand tray, A lot of piece tables have a Zen garden, and you can take your stick, draw a line in the sand, and place your objects into the sand. When you are done, you remove your objects and you remove your line. Then the work is ready to be used by another person. All these things are designed to work as you have a child moving from 3 all the way up until they are 12 in degrees of growth. So we'll begin with large objects like the stones and move to smaller objects like the pom-poms or the pieces of mosaic glass, and the complexity increases on whatever they're doing. One last possible work for you. It's like a very long piece of yarn. Another piece of yarn. Oh, this one's even shorter. Look at that. And this one won't even stay folded in half. Let's see if we can coax it. And then I have 4 of these. I have one long and 2 short ones of these. So we've created a labyrinth here. This labyrinth is reminiscent of historic labyrinths, and it is designed to help increase self-control and fine motor, because one must concentrate very hard to stay and not touch the lines and knock them out of place. The middle is not the end. We walk to the middle and then we repeat the journey counterclockwise. This work is really, really good for kids who don't like to cross their midline, because the work is set up in the middle of their body, and as they go, their right dominant side or their left dominant side, they'll be very comfortable with that. If a child has some challenge with their actual dominant side and is finding it really hard to control their finger, a skittle being utilized as the piece that will be moving instead of their finger and allowing for more pincher control will be helpful. So you have a number of possibilities for work that can rotate in and out of your piece area. A labyrinth, is suitable for kids in the 5-year-old and up range. The affirmations are also appropriate for children who are able to read, as are the Lord's Prayer and signage that might contain words and not images. The yoga cards are designed to be able for the child to look at the image and recreate that image. For the older children, the variations also include multidisciplinary ideas here. We're looking at some geometry. Over here, we're looking at some Viking ships and what needs to happen to maintain equilibrium in an ocean. And then we move down to why, because the elementary child is really interested in understanding what is the purpose of this. And then they might have their calming journal where they're doing some self-reflection in their upper elementary years, their 9 to 12-year-old years, and these questions would be appropriate to be asked and answered in that journal. We have our increasing levels of challenge with items that would go onto the table to be worked with a mat or with a sand table. And these items are not to challenge the child's ability. It should be well within their ability. It is to give them something to do while they are calming, a repetitious, simple task. And any of those would be great. The ability to look at a sand timer and watch the sand move. The ability to look at a plant or a fish or out the window into a calm space. All those things are helpful for anyone of any age as they begin to calm down from whatever emotion they are feeling, whether it is getting up out of bed on the wrong side of the bed, whether it is being angry and throwing things, whether it is stomping through the house in a rage. All these things can be helpful for your family, for yourself, to have the modeling of showing your children, I need to spend some time calming down. I'm pretty upset right now. I think I'm going to go to the peace table right now, and I'm going to think about why I'm upset and how I can resolve that upsetness within myself. Thanks for watching, and thanks for learning about the peace table. If you have any questions, let me know. There'll be a second video on working with community disagreements and upsetnesses and shovings and pushings and the not yet peaceful self. And come back next week for that, and let me know what kinds of questions you would like answered beyond this. Hit like, subscribe, do all those wonderful things that YouTube likes, and I will see you later. Thank you. Bye-bye.